Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. It is Friday. It's going to be our last video of the month, obviously, with Monday being July 1st. We wanted to wrap up this week and the month on a winning note. So, welcome to another episode. That's Ari. I'm Korea. We're going to get into a quick recap of how we did yesterday. First, unfortunately, me one-on-one day. I'll get right into it. First, the Cubs' first five was definitely a great look. Obviously, Ari, we were talking about it yesterday, but it wasn't even the bullpen. It was Imanaga, who let up a few runs in the sixth, but didn't have to worry about that because the Cubs did get out to a 3-0 lead. Obviously, just backing the Cubs through five, just especially on these, mismatch games where, the pitching matchups are great, but the bullpen obviously tells a different story. The Cubs did get the full game win. So if you did tell the Cubs full game, that was obviously nice to see. They got the extra innings win there, but we just needed through the first five, and Imanaga was dealing through the first five. He allowed five. He went through 5 innings, not a single run allowed. So, and the Cubs scored three. So that's obviously what we needed. So that was obviously a great win there. And, the Guardians and Royals, that was a tough one. I mean, the Guardians offense just didn't show up. In fact, both offenses didn't show up throughout that first five, pretty slow offensively. So that just means that both offenses are going to show up today, of course. And I just just a day early there. It was just a bunch of swing and misses. Not really getting any contact on the ball. Just a tough read, honestly, in my opinion. Both Guardians and Royals, didn't really get going. In terms of their offense, it was mostly zeros throughout that first in the first inning. I saw the Guardians and Royals, they each had so many chances, especially the Guardians. They left so many runners on throughout that first 5 or 6 innings, and just couldn't get anything through. So, just a tough read. When you leave so many people on base, it's just one of those days where you just can't hit them in. So, a one-on-one day for me, but I'm not beating myself too much over it. Obviously, the Guardians had many chances to score some runs throughout that first five, but obviously they're going to score runs today, of course, just a day early. But Ari, I know I'm another one of those first threes, huh?
Yeah, I was feeling good through the first. I basically needed a 1.5, under 1.5 nerfy in the third inning. So it was 0-0 through 2. But as soon as I think it was Hicks, he hit Peter Crow Armstrong to lead off the third. And then, when you need under 1.5, any sort of walk or hit by pitch, obviously, is not good. I think he struck out the catcher. I think it was Nito, I think it was, the number 9 hitter. And Armstrong stole third, and I thought that he maybe got thrown out for the second out. It was like a strikeout, throw him out, stealing third. And it looked like he might have been out, but they didn't challenge it, unfortunately. And then 2 pitches later, Nico Hoerner hits a home run on a pitch that Hicks just hung up, an Aussie pitch hung up basically up the middle of the plate. They did score one more run later in the inning, so it's like even if it was a solo home run, it probably still would have lost. It would have been 2-0 instead of 3-0. But yeah, I was feeling good after the first 2 innings of basically maybe 2 base runners combined between the 2 teams in the first 2 innings. But then Hicks, the second time through the lineup, the Cubs got to Hicks in that third inning. But obviously it was just a half unit on a +1. I think it might have even gotten up to +150 by the time it was first pitch on some books. So, tough one, tough loss with the way it played out after the scoreless first 2 innings. But obviously that's the risk of 1.5. It's just all it takes is one base runner to be in trouble of a home run, obviously going over. So that's how it played out. But obviously Imanaga did his job through the first 5 he did his job through the first 3, shutting them out for this and for you as for your bet as well. So obviously we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously tough. When you get runners on, that's kind of your worst enemy in the first 3 under 1.5. Obviously it only takes a couple base runners, and you mentioned even with the whole Crow Armstrong, even if he didn't get hit, obviously the Cubs did tack on a couple runs in that earned runs in that top of the third, so top of the third. So, it was a tough look anyway. You mentioned Hoerner as well, having that 2-run homer. Hicks just threw it right over the middle of the plate. That's just a tough look, especially in the second part of the lineup. It's always harder for a pitcher to go through the lineup twice and go through unscathed. But some pitchers just like to throw different stuff, and maybe sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But unfortunately, just it took one base runner, and it kind of ruined it for you. But obviously, it would have been ruined anyway, even if he didn't get hit by that pitch. So unfortunately, 1-2 day for us. But we're gonna end the month and the week strong. Obviously, today is Friday, June 28th. I got two bets for you. Obviously, staying on the diamond after the U.S. MNT let all of America down yesterday. First, we're gonna go with the Pirates. No, we're gonna go with the Padres and Cubs. We're going to Boston. We're taking that first 5 over 4.5. We're getting it about -135. I saw the pitching matchup and I said this total should be set at 11.5 because it's Randy Vasquez and Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta does not do good against right-handed batters. Randy Vasquez is a walking 6 ERA. That pretty much should say how it is. The Padres love to hit righties. Obviously, I think Nick Pivetta struggles today at home. Obviously, he has struggled at home again in the past. Against I remember backing Nick Pivetta against the Braves one time, and the Braves I think scored 8, 9, 10 runs against him, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of runs. It was a bad day to back the Red Sox. And obviously on the other side, Randy Vasquez, he has struggled a lot, especially with his control and his ability. Whether it's on the road or at home, he just is not that good pitcher. It's always, they love to just throw him out and say, see how long you can go. Let's rack up. Hopefully our offense can do a majority of the work. And I think that's kind of what this game is. It's more of an offensive game today. I think, both offenses show out today for the Padres, obviously. Going on the road, it's definitely not easy for your offense to kind of go, especially cross country. It's not that easy for your offense to just kind of, maintain how it is. But I do think, Nick Pivetta struggles at home today. And then for the Padres, obviously, it's Randy Vasquez. We always talk about how he struggles as a pitcher for this San Diego Padres team. In his last few starts, he has allowed a few runs, and all we need is 5 from both teams here. So that's maybe a couple from Pivetta, maybe 3 or 2 earn, not even earn. We just need runs from both sides here. I do love that first 5 over 4.5. I do expect a high scoring game today. I don't really like the full game, obviously. Even with the bullpens and everything, and for both teams, I just really want to target the pitching matchup here. So I'd love the first 5 over 4.5. I do think both pitchers, get a little rattled in Boston today. So I'm taking that. I'm backing the runs here, but just through the first 5. Padres and Red Sox first 5 over 4.5. We're getting that about -135, and then we're going to Milwaukee, taking the Brewers money line, getting that at -130. I don't know why this line is so low. I think this is a mismatch. I think this is a mispriced game, honestly. This should be a couple cents higher. I think this should be somewhere in the -150 range just because, they're facing the Cubs, and obviously they are facing Tyone at home. But, Ari, I think we did talk about Colin Ray at home and how he's a lot better at home, and that's who's starting for the Brewers at home. So that's 1. The Brewers love to hit right-handed pitching. That's 2. The Brewers are a lot better at home. That's 3. The Cubs bullpen is horrible. That's 4. That's 4 reasons why the Brewers should be priced a lot higher in this. You're getting them at a great price at -130 on DraftKings. I think it's just because of the pitching matchup. How both of these teams know each other so well. Cubs and Brewers, both NL Central rivals here. I'm taking the Brewers at home, obviously the better team at home. I just listed, obviously Colin Ray a lot better at home. We talk about his home run road splits, a lot considerably better at home. The Brewers play better at home, obviously, in terms of their bats. Tyone has had some good starts. He did look good in his last start, but this is a really bad spot for him going to a Brewers team that I think ranked like in the top 10 in terms of hitting righties. And obviously, we talk about how the Cubs bullpen, we don't even have to, say Tyone does do well. Okay, well, the Cubs bullpen is going to come through and mess things up anyway. That's it. That's what they always do. So I'm taking the Brewers full game here. I was liking the first 5, but I really just wanted to target the full game just because there are 3 bullpens that just know how to blow leads, and it's the Rockies and White Sox who unfortunately have to play each other this weekend. So I know a total of 3 people are going to be watching that series on streaming networks, but as well as the Cubs as well. Just a horrible bullpen. So we're just taking the Brewers full game here at -130. That's my other play today. Those are my 2 plays: Padres, Red Sox, first 5 over 4.5. I love the fact that both of these pitchers stink. We're getting it for a good price at -135, and then the Brewers money line, we're getting Colin Ray at home, who's a lot better, in terms of the home and road splits. The Brewers play better at home, especially against righties. And obviously the Cubs bullpen has been a mess all season. And, even if Tyone does do good, I do know that the bullpen will probably come in and mess things up maybe a little bit, hopefully. But we just need the Brewers to win. So hopefully they make it sweat-free. Those are my 2 plays today. Ari, what have you cooked up for this Friday?
Yeah, just one play for me today, and it's just basically a complete fade of Tristan McKenzie, who I faded before this season. And it's kind of unfortunate because he was such a fun pitcher to watch in past years, but I think it's like a tear in his elbow that he's pitching through. They suggest, like doctors suggested, that he underwent Tommy John surgery like before the season started or early in the season. I think in April, and he decided to keep playing, and unfortunately, he's just not been good this year. And 4 starts this month. I mean, he's been bad all year, but in June, he has an ERA of almost 8 and 4 starts. Last 2 starts, he hasn't even pitched more than 3 innings. In both starts, he has 4 walks in each start. So he's been wild. And I mean, we saw it when he faced the Mariners as well earlier this month as well. But it's been more so his last 2 starts with 4 walks apiece and hasn't pitched more than 3 innings. And the Royals are a team that will be patient if they need to be if he's wild. And if he makes a mistake in the middle of the plate, they'll make him pay. It's Alex Marsh on the other side, who I'm not like super confident, but I'm confident in that he's been better at home than on the road. He pitched 7 shutout against the Yankees earlier this month, which, with the way the Yankees are playing, I guess maybe doesn't say as much as it would earlier in the year, obviously. But that's besides the point. This is just a fate of McKenzie in Kansas City, where the Royals obviously play way better at home, obviously. And McKenzie's been bad at home and on the road, but this is just, he's been even worse in June than before earlier in the season. Both being wild and command and just everything basically. So just backing the Royals, and the Royals, the full game money line for it's like basically like minus 108. First 5 is minus 125. So that that says that they're favored in the first 5 and a slight underdog in the full game. Want nothing to do with their bullpen, and obviously the Guardians bullpen is way better. So just sticking to the first 5 for the Royals here against McKenzie in Cleveland.
Yeah, I do love that play for you, Ari. You mentioned, I even mentioned it yesterday. Yesterday's game was so low scoring. I think both teams are going to be, very, very offensive today. So I do love that Royals first 5 money line play. You mentioned McKenzie, and unfortunately he's been dealing with this tearing his shoulder all season, and it's been like an opportunity for us to kind of fade him, which is sad, but. At the same time, just money is money, and you mentioned McKenzie's ERA this month, already super high, and the Royals play way better at home. We mentioned, obviously, yesterday's very low-scoring game. I expect both offenses to show up. You mentioned the Royals' first 5. Obviously, the full game money line price of more at a pick 'em just because the Guardians win the bullpen battle significantly. Obviously, one of the best bullpens in baseball. So, they line readers probably think that the Royals maybe get out to like an early lead here, and then Guardians somehow make a comeback late. So I do love the Royals' first 5 money line here. Just take them through the first 5, and hey, if they even push, you get your money back, obviously. So there's multiple ways here. Obviously, we would like the Royals to be leading through 5 innings, but if they are tied, we obviously do get our money back. But hopefully they're not losing through 5. That's all that we cannot afford that. So I do love that for you, obviously. The Royals first 5 money line, Ari's one and only play. My 2 plays today. The Brewers full game money line at minus 130. And the Padres and Red Sox first 5, you're taking that over 4.5 here at minus 135. You can find all 3 of these plays on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. We will have our full video on Twitter posted momentarily, but that's going to do it for this episode and this month of AKP Sports Talk. That's RM Korea. Obviously, Monday we'll have a new video. New month, obviously. We have hit the official Dog Days of Summer because it's July, obviously. Starting tomorrow, we means officially just Euros, obviously. Some more Copa America, unfortunately, for U.S. fans. But obviously, we have some. I think Wimbledon is starting. I think this weekend or pretty much soon. I know Ari's been. Yeah, I know, Ari, you've been tuned into that. I know you may have some plays out there. So, obviously, just getting ready for the upcoming NFL season, slowly creeping up. We're getting very excited for that. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Win some money this weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday for a new